games in Denver. First one against the Arizona Cardinals. This game was very competitive in the first half. Yeah, numbers looking pretty good. Then the second half, wow, numbers dropped off dramatically for the Cardinals, while Denver's performance will stay the same, actually improved a little bit as well. Same thing in Week 7 against the 49ers. You can see the numbers in the first half pretty good. Second half, again, they plummet, the numbers do, for the 49ers. So is this just some fantastic halftime adjustments, or is it fatigue by the visiting team, breathing reduced oxygen at a higher elevation than what the players are used to? Well, now to tonight's matchup, Broncos versus Chargers, again, at a mile high versus basically a team that lives and trains at sea level. Now, just purely on the scientific level, the Broncos should have the upper hand. In fact, last year, though, the Chargers beat the Broncos in the regular season, but then lost in the playoff. Both of those games played at Mile High. Well, this season, the Chargers are 5-2, the Broncos are 5-1, and they are 4-0 at home, and they are the two top teams in the AFC West. So again, the weather should not be a concern at all for the game. Fantastic weather, but it's the altitude that could definitely play into what happens on the field tonight. The odds makers in Vegas keeping it around 7.5-point favorites in terms of the Broncos. If I'm a betting person, I'd say the Broncos win, but I do say the Chargers have a good chance of covering that point spread. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Paul. Well, the pictures of changing leaves people send us this time of year are breathtaking, but that natural beauty combined with the right road conditions can be dangerous.
When your house loses power, it can be tough for your family. Not if your family has a Kohler generator. Restores power automatically in as little as 10 seconds and is backed by a 5-year limited warranty. Kohler generators. Keep your family flowing.
When the power goes out, you'll go on. Contact your Kohler Generators dealer today.
Your heart is precious. One of many ways to support its health is new True Heart from One-A-Day. It's the only heart health supplement with ingredients to both help lower bad cholesterol and support healthy blood pressure, and also includes CoQ10. Try new True Heart.
At Ancestry, we call it a hint. Our little leaf that helps guide you through the past. Simply type in a name and you're taken on a journey. A journey that crosses generations and continents, all to tell the most amazing story. Yours. Discover your story. Start searching for free now at Ancestry.com.
What are you doing?
The dishes are clean. Just gotta scrape the rest of the food off them.
Ew.
Dish issues? Cascade Platinum powers through your toughest messes better than the competition the first time. Cascade, now that's clean.
We could talk about its refined, class-leading, luxurious interior, or its more than 70 available safety and security features, and optional best-in-class 30 highway MPG. But we let others sum it up for us. This is the Jeep Grand Cherokee. It is the best of what we're made of. During the Jeep Celebration event, well-qualified lessees can lease the 2014 Grand Cherokee Laredo 4x4 for $359 a month.
Discover Card. Hey, so I'm looking at my bill and my FICO credit score is on here.
We give you your FICO score each month for free.
Awesome sauce.
Wow. The only person I know that says that is Lisa.
Julie?
At Discover, we treat you like you'd treat you. Get the IT card and see your FICO credit score.
Maybe you didn't know, people with the flu can spread it up to 6 feet away. Or that flu can make chronic conditions worse. Maybe you didn't know any of the stuff your Rite Aid pharmacist knows. But now that you've gotten your flu shot at Rite Aid, maybe you don't need to.
Seatbelts, headrests, and airbags help you survive a crash. But if you upgrade your headlights, you may even avoid one. See farther, wider, better. Silver Star Ultra headlights from Sylvania.
This fall, you've got to watch the Weather Channel mornings.
It will all start with the weather.
The weather's too important to cover in a few minutes.
It's starting to intensify.
Because it's not just about your forecast.
Look at this.
Listen to that.
See the weather like never before. Amazing starts here. The Weather Channel mornings.
Currently in our area, 78 degrees under cloudy skies. Tonight, partly cloudy skies early will give way to cloudy skies later at night. Low 74. Friday, cloudy skies. High 79. Winds northeast at 15 to 25 miles per hour. Friday night, partly cloudy skies. Low 71. Here's our 7-day outlook.
On camera. Oh my God. Tonight, tomorrow night, every weeknight. Wild weather at 8 on the Weather Channel.
See him right there? Oh yeah.
What did those humans do with the headache? I knew I should have taken that left turn at Albuquerque.
The salmon took a wrong turn in the Skokomish Valley. Floodwaters sent the Skokomish River over its bank, and that made it hard for this little guy to find its way upstream, or like you said, back into the stream.
Right, back into the streams. Drivers spent all day, can you believe this, dodging fish until the county closed the road down completely.
Rich, our producer, says, is he swimming against the traffic?
I heard him. I chose not to repeat it. Yes.
I gave him a couple props.
We are glad that you stopped by this afternoon. Thanks for joining us here on Weather Center Live. I'm Dave Schwartz.
And I'm Alex Wilson. We have a ton to talk about, including rain in South Florida, today's solar eclipse, and the nor'easter impacts from New York all the way up to New England.
Yeah, take a live look at New York City on the left, Portland, Maine on the right. And you'll notice the skies have brightened. And that's good news. This storm, this nor'easter, is beginning to wind down. The winds are lighter in New York City. Here in Portland, we still have some rain. Well, Alex, can you fill us in on the details?
You know I can. And we've got the forecast as that nor'easter still impacts parts of New England through the end of today and tonight. So we're not done just yet. LaGuardia, we've been checking in on you. Rain showers have come to an end. Still mostly cloudy. Winds now gusting near 30 miles an hour. So the winds have increased across the area. And we do have delays, nearly 2 hours. So same as they were an hour ago. Check in on your flight. If you've got any departures or you're waiting for someone to arrive, use those apps, check in, make sure that you're not getting yourself to the airport way too early. You could have dinner at home with your family instead of leaving and hanging out in that airport lounge for forever. Rain showers continue, especially across parts of Maine, New Hampshire, northern Vermont. We've seen some heavier rain showers through eastern sections of New York as well. Gale warnings continue off the coast of Maine. Still have some wind advisories in play as well through Massachusetts. Wave heights over 15, even 16 feet off the coast of Maine. So those winds are leading to rough surf along the coastline, and the winds right now 26 miles per hour in Boston with stronger gusts. We're going to keep those winds on the gusty side, especially for Boston as we go into the overnight. Dave.
Thanks, Alex. Well, understandably, all that wind and rain and, well, the flooding that's has caused some delays in Boston at the Logan Airport. But meteorologist Mike Seidel shows us some of the other impacts we're seeing from this week's nor'easter.
This big, slow-moving storm system is still bringing rain and wind to parts of New England.
The amount of rain that we're going to be seeing here is impressive.
Already, it's dropped more than 2.5 inches of rain in Boston and sent wind gusts up to 50 miles an hour. The flooding was so bad in parts of Massachusetts that some schools closed for the day. On Boston's North Shore, people got stuck in their cars. Some had to wait for rescue crews to navigate the dangerous conditions.
We called them, and they're saying that they tried to come, but the roads are all closed.
At the height of the storm, tens of thousands were without power across New England, and hundreds of trees were down. The weather is also being blamed for a large gas fire Wednesday night in Wethersfield, Connecticut, when fallen power lines hit a gas main valve. The storm brought big surf along the coastal regions, but not everyone was complaining.
I like to see big weather events. I surf, so it kicks up the waves.
Along the Maine coast, ahead of high tide, people were watching the waves.
You come out in the summer, it's so tranquil. And now it's like it's so angry. I've seen a lot worse, especially in the wintertime. the wintertime, we get some monsters up here.
In Massachusetts, the already large surf pummeled the coast and even knocked over some sailboats.
If this were like 2 or 3 months further, into winter, it'd be quite a lot of drifting snow and blowing around. It's windy enough.
But as weather-hardy New Englanders, many don't let a little bad weather get in their way.
We're really well prepared for all different sorts of weather, and most of the time rain and snow don't slow us down a whole lot.
I'm meteorologist Mike Seidel, the Weather Channel.
Well, from the northeast to the northwest, this is coastal Oregon. Is that not a picturesque scene? The winds and seas are winding down here, as they are in New England. So we're looking at some better weather. Still some thunder showers around Portland, and an unconfirmed report of a funnel cloud in western Washington today. Otherwise, we're beginning to see some breaks in the clouds out here. I'll tell you, though, rain is something we want here in the West, especially here in California. Now, the rain is thinning out, just some scattered showers here, western Washington, western Oregon, and the rain is lightening up as we head toward eastern Oregon over toward Ontario, Oregon. But there has been some lightning from some of these showers, so we can call showers and thunder showers for western Washington all the way down into the Willamette Valley. That's the story, at least through sunset, maybe 7 or 8 o'clock tonight. Then things should quiet down, but wait till the weekend. But let's talk drought. Eastern Washington, well, we could use some rain, but that's a rain shadow. We typically don't get much rain in eastern and central Washington. Same story in Oregon. Southeast Oregon has an extreme drought going on, the likes of which we've seen in California now for years. 58% of the state under an exceptional drought. We have had some rain here, the northwest corner, over the last couple of weeks. We anticipate later this season the rain moves southward. Alex, back to you.
Thank you so much, Dave. In California, the state is starting to hand out some heavy fines for people who are breaking the rules when it comes to watering their lawns. As CNBC's Jane Wells reports, it's turning neighbor against neighbor.
The U.S. Drought Monitor out this week has all of California in drought and more than 80% of the state in an extreme version of it. So there's all kind of restrictions and rules about watering, and if you break them, be prepared to meet a new type of water cop. He doesn't carry a badge or a gun, just a fine.
Californians love their lawns, but the grass is now greener someplace else. Water is restricted in much of the state, and for people who break the rules,
we were sort of just done with letting people off the hook.
There are water cops.
We saw the gutter completely flooded all the way down the street.
Stephen Upton is doing a pre-dawn patrol in Sacramento. Here in California's capital, Governor Brown is living up to his name. Outdoor watering can only happen 2 days a week. And today isn't one of them.
Even if this was their watering day, this is way too much water.
Upton goes from house to house, snapping photos of rule breakers, then posting notices. First violation is a warning.
Yeah, their grass is soaking.
With a second violation, you start paying $50, then $200, $1,000.
We've had a couple $1,000 fines.
So we've gone from basically 3 people that were doing patrolling and following up on calls that came in to about 40.
Calls reporting violators are up tenfold.
And the call volume of neighbors calling in or civilians calling in is just, it's enormous. At just a month ago, I had 1,000 calls in my queue.
2 days of watering is about to go down to 1 for the winter, as everyone looks to the skies hoping for rain that isn't likely to come.
So much for the El Nino.
Yeah, it's more like a La Nada. So.
In the meantime, Steve Upton stays at it, even if residents sometimes tell him to get off their lawns.
Well, I mean, we've been yelled off a property and threatened, but nothing too violent. It's part of the job. It's what we signed up for.
Ironically, in Sacramento, they still ban the use of fake grass in the front lawn. You can have dead grass, but not fake grass, and that is something the city is reconsidering. In Los Angeles, I'm Jane Wells, CNBC Business News. Back to you.
Thank you, Jane. Appreciate it. Great story.
Ahead on Weather Center Live, we found a few wild weather moments caught on tape, including this one in Marblehead, Massachusetts.
Yeah, look at that. What is that thing? A pier? A marina
dock?
Thingy? A dock? Yeah, this is one of our top 5 videos. We'll get into that after your local on the 8th.
Currently in our area, 78 degrees under cloudy skies. Tonight, partly cloudy skies early will give way to cloudy skies later at night. Low 74. Friday, cloudy skies. High 79. Winds northeast at 15 to 25 miles per hour. Friday night, partly cloudy skies. Low 71. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Let's take these piggies out for new carpet. No, not those. These. Let's get in touch with texture. Something with a twist. Let's look at loops and get a feel for patterns in all sorts of colors. But let's not break the bank. Then, let's get it rolled out right. The perfect carpet? Yeah. Let's bring it all the way home. Let's do this. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Schedule a measure today. Carpet installation is now just $37.
Don't let a severe cold hold you back. Sir? Theraflu starts to get to work in your body in just 5 minutes. Theraflu breaks you free from your worst cold and flu symptoms. Theraflu, serious power.
With breath-freshening, cooling crystals. Icebreakers.
December 7th. Go ahead, mark your calendars. It's the last day you can switch your Medicare Part D plan. We're ready, and we can't wait to switch. What I wanted was simple, the most value for my dollar. So now that it's time, we're making the move to a plan that really works for us.
Make the switch to an AARP Medicare RX plan, insured through United Healthcare. Open enrollment ends December 7th, so don't wait. Call now for a free enrollment guide, which includes a summary of plan benefits and other helpful information. Or enroll right over the phone. Discover why AARP Medicare RX Part D plans are so popular with over 5 million plan members and counting. Choose a plan with low premiums or one with no annual deductible and start saving with your first prescription fill.
Plus, we'll be covered at like 60,000 pharmacies. So if we visit our kids in Portland or go anywhere in the country, we know we're covered.
Enjoy copays for as low as $1 with a preferred retail pharmacy network, which includes thousands of pharmacies and retail locations like these. United Healthcare has worked to get low costs for plan members.
I called the moment I heard about it. I even got help picking out the perfect plan for me. So did my wife. It was easy, really easy.
Get ready for a Part D plan that gives you low premiums or no annual deductible and coverage you can be happy with.
December 7th is coming. I'm glad we're switching.
Open enrollment ends December 7th, so don't wait. Make the switch to an AARP Medicare RX plan. With United Healthcare, you'll discover a great way you could save money while making sure you're taking care of yourself. So call now for a free enrollment guide, which includes a summary of plan benefits and other helpful information. Or enroll right over the phone. AARP Medicare RX plans insured through United Healthcare. Call today.
When myths become reality, a lost city rises from the sea, and your vacation becomes legendary. Discover all the wonders of Atlantis, including Aquaventure Water Park and the thrill of the Atlantis Casino. Book now, and kids under 12 eat breakfast and dinner free with the purchase of an adult meal plan. Only at Atlantis.
Just a reminder, my friend, a partial solar eclipse is coming up in less than 1 hour.
You can watch it live starting at 5:30 Eastern tonight only on the Weather Channel. If you can't get out of the building and you have to watch it, some of us here are going to be watching it through our means as well. A seal.
Take your dog out and watch this thing. You know, we're in peak leaf viewing season too. I mean, look at those colors. There are thousands of miles of roads across the country just lined with vibrant colors just like these.
So true, but storms like the one we're seeing today in the Northeast can make the roads surprisingly dangerous. Meteorologist Chris Warren explains.
Driving on wet roads is treacherous enough. Add leaves, and the results far worse. In the 10-year period from 2002 to 2012, 17% of all vehicle crashes involved wet pavement. And that 17% makes up most of the weather-related crashes.
Well, you wouldn't think about it, fall being so beautiful, but when those falling leaves hit the roadway, they can be very slick because it's something between your tires and the road surface. So what ends up happening is you actually create an icy condition,
making stopping extremely difficult. The biggest piece of advice?
But when it's raining or it's foggy, which we do have a lot of that type of weather this time of year, or leaves are falling on the roadway, especially in a heavy treed area, you want to give yourself twice the distance.
There's a definite science to figuring out what that distance should be. It has to do with the speed of the car and what's called the coefficient of friction. In other words, how much connection there is between the tires and the road. When it's wet and there are leaves, there is less friction and traction suffers. And that depends on many factors, including the road surface, the amount of leaves, and the amount of rain, along with tire treads. So let's look at an example. Driving on dry pavement at 40 miles an hour, it will take about 60 feet to stop safely, or about 4 car lengths. But now let's add in wet pavement and leaves. At the same 40 miles an hour, it will take about 150 feet to stop safely, equaling about 10 car lengths. And all conditions equal, every time you double your speed, the stopping distance quadruples. There are other hazards as well. Leaves covering the roads can mask potholes, bumps, or curbs. Car maintenance is important too. Check your tires and tire pressure, and replace windshield wipers every 6 months. But if you do find yourself sliding,
you always want to turn, not aggressively, but gently into the slide and add power. That will allow you to drive away from the situation.
Color Seekers have 31 states and 3,000 miles of roads to navigate. Throw in rain, and you must keep your distance. I'm meteorologist Chris Warren, the Weather Channel.
All right, let's show you some more cool video. Our top 5 from around the world, including a water spout down the shore in Jersey.
I like the sound of that. Let's go. Let's start overseas. It's snowing in Switzerland. Check out this snowstorm as this Hummer drives through the snowy roads
of Interlaken, Switzerland.
Very Swiss. This is exactly how I would expect the Alps to look, right?
And this is what Brockton, Massachusetts looked like. Look at that, heavy waves down here in the street. This is supposed to be a no-wake zone here downtown Brockton, isn't it?
I think now it is.
Oh, this was the nor'easter. Fortunately, that rain is beginning to taper off now.
Number three, the nor'easter winds have this boat ramp in Marblehead, Massachusetts, rocking and rolling, and not in a good way.
I see what you mean.
Yikes.
And I can hear it, too. Listen. Number 2.
Thunderstorms rolled along the Jersey Shore on Tuesday. A waterspout formed off the coast of Seaside Park. This waterspout appeared around 2 o'clock near Central Ocean County, New Jersey.
How do you like that? It's a little odd this time of year. And number 1, a small volcanic explosion. Watch this.
Wow.
It's a small explosion. There's I
would hate to see a big explosion.
Right. Boom.
Whew.
This is at a crater in Kilauea, Hawaii. The video shows a small explosion and the splatter that hit the overlook area.
Yowza! Well, hey, we'd love to see your videos. You can upload them anytime at weather.com/photos. Be careful, though. Don't go standing next to any lava.
No. Hey, you know, it's shaping up to be an epic weekend.
Here is a look at just one of the cities that will see some beautiful weather. Dave, look at D.C.
Would you please? 70 both days.
And sunshine. Get out there on the mall and take it in.
Look at all the scaffolding. They're doing all that work on the Capitol, huh?
Looks cool with the clouds overhead.
Get up to 20% off and 1,000 rewards points at bestwestern.com with a swipe, a tap, or a click. Get up to 20% off and enjoy breakfast, free high-speed internet, and 1,000 rewards points. Only at bestwestern.com.
Away. Away is the smell of victory. And the smell of burgers. Away is always having home field advantage, even when you're miles away from home. Find your away for a dealer in the RV that's right for you. Visit GoRVing.com.
Sunday nights. When the wind blows. The Weather Channel unravels nature's darkest secrets.
I saw something. I don't know how to explain it.
Every Sunday.
It's a story that's got a life of its own.
A new tale of weather legend.
It may have just looked like a storm, but they were dealing with something far worse.
American Supernatural. Sunday nights at 10 on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 78 degrees under cloudy skies. Tonight, partly cloudy skies early will give way to cloudy skies later at night. Low 74. Friday, cloudy skies. High 79. Winds northeast at 15 to 25 miles per hour. Friday night, partly cloudy skies. Low 71. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Show it off, America. Show off that belt you replaced. Show off the fuel pump, the oil change, the upgrade. You did it. There are a lot of places you can go to do it yourself, but there's only one place that can help you do it right. AutoZone. Because even the pros know parts are just part of what we do. We have the advice, the instructions, we even loan tools. So show it off, America. You did it right. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Ring ring?
Progresso.
It's okay that your soup tastes like my homemade.
It's our slow simmered vegetables and tender white meat chicken.
Apology accepted. I'm watching you, soup people.
Make it Progresso or make it yourself.
Sweetie, I'd love a hazelnut.
Mom, Dad, Big Uncle Wayne.
Hot chocolate.
Green tea.
Decaf, cuz.
Wow.
I'm dying for Nurple tea.
The all-new Keurig 2.0 is here.
Rich, chewy caramel, rolled up in smooth milk chocolate.
All aboard.
Rolo, get your smooth on. We used to have so many empty rolls. It felt like we were flushing money away. Mom! That's why we switched to Charmin Ultra Mega Roll. It's Charmin quality and long-lasting. With more goes per roll, it pays to use Charmin Ultra Mega Roll.
Charmin Ultra Mega Roll is 75% more absorbent, so you can use less with every go. Plus, it even lasts longer than the leading 1000 sheet brand.
For us, Mega Roll equals mega value. Cha-ching! We all go. Why not enjoy the go with Charmin Ultra Mega Roll?
See this? It shows the pressure points at my tired, achy feet.
I had no clue I was putting this kind of stress on my feet.
I have flat feet. I found this out at the free Dr. Scholl's Foot Mapping Center at Walmart. In less than 2 minutes, I got my foot map and my custom number. I'm a 440.
I'm a 210.
340.
That number matched the Dr. Scholl's custom fit orthotic inserts with just the right support to help relieve.
What are your neighbors doing? Oh, are they gyrating? Yeah? Yeah. That's the no rain dance. They don't have Xfinity, so bad weather interferes with their satellite service. It's a no rain dance. Wow. You should see them on game days. It looks like fun. It's not.
Don't settle for outdated satellite. Get reliable TV service rain or shine with Xfinity.
My name's Alyssa, and my life nearly ended at 19 using heroin. I know what it feels like to be hopeless, to feel trapped in your own body. I always had an excuse to get high, and it got in the way of me getting help. I thought I was going to die this way. But then I did something about it. The compassion that was shown to me at the treatment center gave me that strength to live again. They believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. Everyone knows someone affected by the disease of addiction. Please call the treatment center today.
See car insurance in a whole new light. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Every Monday night this fall.
What is it that produces these things?
The Weather Channel unlocks the secrets of the Earth. The all-new season continues Monday night at 9 on the Weather Channel.
We want to congratulate meteorologist Mike Bettis of our own Weather Channel. He's just been named the 2014 Broadcaster of the Year by the National Weather Association.
He was honored for his dedication to educating viewers on the science and danger of tornadoes and his honesty in admitting the lessons he learned during the May 31st, 2013 tornado outbreak. This is an award that's given by your peers, so big bragging rights, and we're just so proud of Mike.
Mike Bettis is one of those really good people.
He is. He's really, really nice.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't think there's anyone here who disagrees. They just say he is a great all-around guy.
Way to go, Mike. Well, now time to check in on the tropics. Any possible hurricanes out there? Mike Lowry?
Nothing right now, Dave. This tropical depression that we were watching in the Gulf of Mexico, no longer just a swirl of low-level clouds. This is what we're still watching, the remnants of it, and it's not here, actually. It's over the Yucatan Peninsula. It's over land, and the Hurricane Center is saying, well, once it gets back over the Western Caribbean, say on Saturday into Sunday, it's possible we could see some development, but they're only giving it a 10% chance, a low chance of actually doing anything. Here's what it looks like on the visible picture. This is what we're looking at right in here. Very broad spin to the clouds. It's not a very strong area of low pressure, obviously. And actually, if you look to the north of it, you can see the blow up of thunderstorms I was talking about. This is sort of another area of low pressure that's developed to the west of the Florida Peninsula. What's happening is you got winds at the upper levels of the atmosphere. Those are helping to support those clouds, helping to produce the thunderstorms that we're seeing over parts of western Cuba. A lot of that deep tropical moisture spreading over parts of the extreme south part of the Florida Peninsula. They are so done, I think, with wet season at this point. That cold front is going to be pushing down into the Florida Straits this weekend. So Miami, just deal with it for one more day, and I promise you the weekend's going to be very nice, and then you can start the very long dry season, the nicest part of the season down there in South Florida. Let's talk about what's happening at the mid-levels of the atmosphere, the upper part of the atmosphere, and you can see the dry air, the orange color, the sort of the gold color that you're seeing on our map. Very, very dry air. Remember, tropical systems really thrive off of moisture at the mid part of the atmosphere. So with all of that dry air working down through the Gulf of Mexico into the Caribbean Sea, even once this does get back over the Western Caribbean Sea, I think there's a very low chance that anything will happen here. And hopefully, Dave and Alex, that dry air ushering maybe the sort of the end of the hurricane season, but we'll see. Still a month left to go officially. Back to you.
Very interesting. Thank you so much, Michael Lowry. You know, there's a lot of amazing stuff happening this weekend, and with it being Thursday, we wanted to point out some of them. And one of the events is the Texas Book Festival going on in the state's capital of Austin. Can't get better weather for this. And we're talking all kinds of books, fiction, nonfiction, even cookbook authors will be there, and they are doing a literary pub crawl. Make sure you got the t-shirts on. 89 with sunshine on Saturday, 87 and sunny on Sunday. So heating up across the central and southern U.S. Dave.
Thanks, Alex. Yeah, let's take a look at the weekend and see what it's like in Austin and, oh, perhaps over at your place. Or maybe you happen to be going to Bat Fest. That's in Batavia, Illinois, which is a western suburb of Chicago. Just take the Interstate West and then take Wilson Street across the Fox River, and you are in Batavia. Look at that, 69 degrees is the forecast for Bat Fest. 65 in Minneapolis, 68 in Billings, almost 80 here in Denver, and 90 in Dallas. That is some mild weather across the country. The only temperatures cooler than average here would be Seattle. That would be it. And here's a look at Sunday, too. A cold front smashing into the Pacific Northwest will keep it unsettled and then cooler in that part of the country. That's it. Alex, back to you.
Thank you so much, Dave. Well, the countdown is on. A partial solar eclipse is happening in just over a half hour. Still to come on Weather Center Live, we'll show you who's got the best view and explain how you can watch it safely. Plus, we're getting info from the National Weather Service of a possible tornado in Washington State. We are going to talk more about that after the break.
Currently in our area, 78 degrees under cloudy skies. Tonight, partly cloudy skies early will give way to cloudy skies later at night. Low 74. Friday, cloudy skies, high 79. Winds northeast at 15 to 25 miles per hour. Friday night, partly cloudy skies, low 71. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Right now, you're ready to turn your attention to the skies tonight. Maybe see this, catch something you won't get another chance to see again until 2023. It's a solar eclipse. The best time to check it out this evening from the Weather Channel headquarters in Atlanta. You're watching Weather Center Live. Thanks for joining us this evening. I'm Chris Warren.
And I'm Kelly Cass, and that partial solar eclipse will have eyes all over the country pointed at the sky. Carefully, though.
Don't look right at it.
Right, don't look right at it. But for millions of Americans in the Northeast, it looks like the clouds are going to get in the way, unfortunately.
And that's because of the heavy rain and the storm that's moving through. We've also seen some high coastal winds. The nor'easter that we've been talking about all week on the Weather Channel is being felt in many places, including these: Boston, Hartford, Connecticut, also Portland, Maine. And, of course, Kelly Cass is tracking those gray skies across the Northeast, and she's timing it out for you. Kelly.
I do have better news for you guys. It looks like the wet weather is on its way out of here. By tomorrow, things will be looking a lot better, a lot brighter, not as dreary as what you've got going on right now. And, of course, not as much sitting around waiting for flights either. We've had some big-time airport delays the past couple of days because of the wind and the clouds and, of course, the rain. New York City, LaGuardia, we are about 2 hours on average delay time. Newark also over an hour and a half. You can see Boston. Oh, you guys are the worst. Sorry about that. Logan checking in at 2 hours and 40-minute delays. Philadelphia, this time yesterday we were looking at some big delays, but right now no delays being reported, and we can't blame it on the weather because weather conditions are actually improving across the mid-Atlantic. York Beach, not so much. This is along the coast of Maine where we have a lot of clouds. We are just socked in. At times we've had winds gusting between 40 and 50 miles per hour. We've seen trees and wires come down, power outages across the state of Maine as well as eastern Massachusetts, and we are still concerned about coastal flooding and inland flooding as well. Flood watches remain in effect for a good chunk of Maine and New Hampshire, but they have been lifted for the Boston area, so that's just a sign of better things that are coming. Here is a look at the overall picture. You can see the clouds, and then underneath the clouds, you've got the radar showing up the rain. You can see some of the darker greens and yellows right along the beautiful rocky coast of Maine. So we're still seeing some downpours at times, but overall the weather picture is improving as you head back toward the Hudson Valley. Even the Catskills, I'm seeing some darker colors right here, so maybe the clouds are starting to separate and break up out there. Maybe a little bit of sunshine in time for sunset. There's a look at New York City. Your radar is good. We are just fine out there, but up towards, say Providence and Newport, we're still finding some of that wet weather around the Boston area as well, and you can see more rain headed your way into Portland. All that flow coming in right off the ocean, so at times we have been seeing some downpours and some pretty impressive rainfall totals. And as I mentioned, the winds have been pretty strong too. Right now they're 25 miles per hour in Boston. No wonder we've got the issues at Logan. Looks like tonight the wet weather will continue, still very windy along the coast, but then tomorrow still a few lingering showers, mainly in New England, but down towards New York City you're looking fine. And again, things will be improving slowly but surely over the next couple of days. Chris?
Kelly, we have been tracking this nor'easter 4 days, and meteorologist Mike Seidel shows us the impacts of this system.
This big, slow-moving storm system is still bringing rain and wind to parts of New England.
The amount of rain that we're going to be seeing here is impressive.
Already, it's dropped more than 2.5 inches of rain in Boston and sent wind gusts up to 50 miles an hour. The flooding was so bad in parts of Massachusetts that some schools closed for the day. On Boston's North Shore, people got stuck in their cars. Some had to wait for rescue crews to navigate the dangerous conditions.
We called them, and they're saying that they tried to come, but the roads are all closed.
At the height of the storm, tens of thousands were without power across New England, and hundreds of trees were down. The weather is also being blamed for a large gas fire Wednesday night in Wethersfield, Connecticut, when fallen power lines hit a gas main valve. The storm brought big surf along the coastal regions, but not everyone was complaining.
I like to see big weather events. I surf, so it kicks up the waves.
Along the Maine coast, ahead of high tide, people were watching the waves.
You come out in the summer, it's so tranquil. And now it's like it's so angry. I've seen a lot worse, especially in the wintertime. We get some monsters up here.
In Massachusetts, the already large surf pummeled the coast and even knocked over some sailboats.
If this were like 2 or 3 months further, into winter, there'd be quite a lot of drifting snow and blowing around. It's windy enough.
But as weather-hardy New Englanders, many don't let a little bad weather get in their way.
We're really well prepared for all different sorts of weather, and most of the time rain and snow don't slow us down a whole lot.
I'm meteorologist Mike Seidel, The Weather Channel.
Thank you, Mike. We do have some new video in from Washington State, Longview, Washington. Look at that. That's debris going up in the air. This is from a confirmed tornado by the National Weather Service. This is in southwest Washington, not too far away from the Oregon border. In fact, just across the river and not too far away from Portland, Oregon. But look at this. Right on the horizon, a little piece of debris. It's hard to make out the funnel itself, but you can certainly see that debris spinning out, and also reports of several trees and power lines down in the Kelso Longview area. So an amazing scene you just don't see very often in this part of the country. What you do see quite often in this part of the country is rain, and that is exactly what is going to be happening. More rain for the Pacific Northwest for the next several days, but the deal is, the Pacific Northwest, while it's raining in one spot, you can also find this. This is on the north end of the Olympic Peninsula, and look at all of that blue sky. Nice looking scene here, but other spots, not so much. So this is what happens typically in a situation like this. You have an area of low pressure, spins, in this case, a lot of moisture in. But once you get the cold front to come through, that's when you get a break in the cloud. Also, destabilizes things a bit, and that's why you end up with some of the stronger storms and that rare tornado. Here's a look where the showers are right now. Severe thunderstorm warning earlier. That has dissipated. The Longview area right in here, and the storms are well off from there, and you can see getting some much needed rain in California as well. More moisture pumping in. That's what we're going to be seeing. We have been seeing and will see for days, and we're going to add in some wind as well. Keep it here, tune into the Weather Channel. We're going to break this down throughout the course of the next several days as more rain is on the way. We'll be right back.
This is Pete. Pete is helping his aunt move, so he's not thinking about tires right now. But if he were, all he'd need to know is TireRack.com. He could view the complete selection of Continental tires at TireRack.com. Then he'd have the confidence to drive safely in any weather. But Pete's not thinking about tires. Pete's thinking it would have been nice if his aunt had mentioned the Minor Bird. TireRack.com. Find, deliver, install.
Apples are good. A Strongbow hard cider, better. But Strongbow over ice is the best. Enjoying Strongbow over ice with your slow-motion horse? The bestest. Strongbow, world's #1 hard cider.
Wow, this is what we're giving out?
Yep. I love Kit Kat and Reese's candy.
Have fun trick-or-treating. Trick-or-treat!
Have a monstrously big Halloween with your favorite Hershey's candies. Walmart.
It's Chevy Truck Month, time when truck guys can depend on great offers on the 2014 North American Truck of the Year. Chevy Silverado, from the family of the most dependable, longest-lasting full-size pickups on the road. free. It's Truck Month. Trade up to this Silverado Crew Cab LT All-Star Edition for a total value of $8,500. It's Truck Month. See your local Chevy dealer today.
It's just freaking me out.
If you missed this Sunday night on the Weather Channel,
this is crazy.
You'll never know how twisted weather can be.
Is it real? Yeah, it's real.
Wicked Weather Sundays with strangest weather on Earth and American Supernatural. Every Sunday night at 9, only on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 78 degrees under cloudy skies. Tonight, partly cloudy skies early will give way to cloudy skies later at night. Low 74. Friday, cloudy skies. High 79. Winds northeast at 15 to 25 miles per hour. Friday night, partly cloudy skies. Low 71. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Every Sunday, a new tale of weather legend. American Supernatural, Sunday nights at 10 on the Weather Channel.
I'm Angela, and I quit smoking with Chantix. People who know me to this day, they say, I never thought you would quit. You know, I really didn't either, but Chantix helped me do it.
Along with support, Chantix Varenicline is proven to help people quit smoking.
It gave me the power to overcome the urge to smoke.
Some people had changes in behavior, thinking or mood, hostility, agitation, depressed mood, and suicidal thoughts or actions while taking or after stopping Chantix. If you notice any of these, stop Chantix and call your doctor right away. Tell your doctor about any history of mental health problems, which could get worse while taking Chantix. Don't take Chantix if you've had a serious allergic or skin reaction to it. If you develop these, stop Chantix and see your doctor right away, as some can be life-threatening. Tell your doctor if you have a history of heart or blood vessel problems, or if you develop new or worse symptoms. Get medical help right away if you have symptoms of a heart attack or stroke. Use caution when driving or operating machinery. Common side effects include nausea, trouble sleeping, and unusual dreams.
I'm a non-smoker. That feels amazing.
Ask your doctor if Chantix is right for you.
At the end of the day, my hands are beat up.
Especially during the winter times, hands are splitting, cracking, making it very difficult to do my job.
O'Keefe's Working Hands. Guaranteed relief for dry hands that crack and split.
Best stuff we've ever used.
It just works.
Learn more at workinghands.com.
Welcome back, everyone. This is new video into us from Longview, Washington. This is in the southwest part of the state, and what you're looking at, perhaps debris swirling around with an actual tornado. The National Weather Service saying it's a tornado, but they haven't determined exactly what strength yet. But Cowlitz County DEM, Department of Emergency Management, is saying stay away from the area of 10th and Vandercook with lots of debris in the road, and crews are still out there trying to clear the scene. We want expert analysis now with our severe weather expert, Dr. Greg Forbes. And Greg, this is an area that doesn't see tornadoes very often.
No, it really does not. The whole state of Washington only averages about 2 tornadoes per year. If this was in Wahkiakum County, I think that would be the first tornado on record, and the records go back to 1950. Let's take a look at some of the damage here. We're seeing a big piece of sheet metal that's probably come off a building or a roof here that has been tossed around. Other pieces of debris. We have seen video of debris that was swirling around with this tornado. Do we have another still picture or some additional video here to show? There we go. So lots of sheet metal was tossed around. Some of that may have knocked in part of the door here, and lots of debris laying around on the road. The video of this all occurred a little over an hour ago, and we're seeing here, you'll see some of the debris that is swirling around as we pan around. There it is. It's up in the air. So what you don't see at this point is that any kind of a funnel cloud that is going all the way from the ground where the counterclockwise circulation is taking place up to the cloud. But if we roll all the way, when we roll roll all the way to the end of the video, if we go that far in this clip, there was actually some funnel cloud, little circulation at cloud base. So if this was just a low-level swirl, it certainly has some counterclockwise rotation, some upward motion there, so it is definitely a wind circulation at the ground. We could call it a gustnado. Those don't always get classified as full-fledged tornadoes, but this one, in this case, a latter portion of the video showed that there was a circulation that extended all the way up to the cloud base. So this will likely be called a tornado, likely of the land spot variety. It was out on the edge of a weak thunderstorm, and you don't always have to have that kind of a funnel that goes all the way from cloud base to the ground. But I think with the rotation at cloud base and definitely the rotation at the surface, this is very likely to get classified as a tornado, not just a gustnado or some kind of a whirlwind. Back to Chris.
All right, Dr. Forbes, thank you very much. And this is a look at some fall color here, really popping this video from North Carolina's Blue Ridge Parkway. And if your plans take you here, somewhere around here, you might be wondering when are they at peak, because some areas are already past peak. You might also be wondering how long that color is going to last. Let's take a look, at least right now, where there is some peak. And the main thing, if you're looking for it, Kelly, you look at the orange and the yellows. That's where you're still in luck.
Good
the reds,
color.
Those are kind of beyond at
And
this
when
point.
you're peaking, you don't want too much wind or rain to take down those leaves, right? You want that peak to last as long as possible. And in fact, we are looking at lots of good color across Massachusetts if the leaves are still on the trees.
If they're still on the trees, because they are peaking here in Maine, but it's exactly right. All that wind has been there as well. So that's a really good point, something to think about. And still at peak, or not quite to peak in some areas in the Midwest, so not too bad.
Yeah, past peak up across the arrowhead of Minnesota, but around the Chicago area, Springfield, even St. Louis, we are peaking right now. This is the time to get out the camera, get those really good shots of the kids in the pumpkin patch, all that good colors out there.
And then we look here throughout parts of the South that are getting close to peak. In some areas, it is at peak, like the Blue Ridge, also looking pretty good.
Yeah, really nice in the Smokies, but here in Georgia, we typically do not peak until Halloween, beginning of November, and out west, the head for the hills are all gone.
Right here. But you get into North Idaho, parts of western Montana and central Idaho, you get into the mountains where it's gorgeous anyways. You add the color, it's great.
And beautiful color across the chimney there of Idaho, so we get out there and enjoy it. Well, we've got our eye on the sky, but don't look directly at it. It's a partial solar eclipse set to peak within the next hour. We've got views from around the country to show you.
Yeah, and again, enjoy it while you can, because this is the last partial solar eclipse until the year 2023. And coming up, we'll show you some of the cool tricks you can do during an eclipse.
Maybe you didn't know, people with the flu can spread it up to 6 feet away. Or that flu can make chronic conditions worse. Maybe you didn't know any of the stuff your Rite Aid pharmacist knows. But now that you've gotten your flu shot at Rite Aid, maybe you don't need to.
You drop 40 grand on a new set of wheels, then wham, a minivan T-bones you. Guess what? Your insurance company will only give you $37,000 to replace it. Depreciation, they claim. How can my car depreciate before its first oil change, you ask? Maybe the better question is, why do you have that insurance company?
With Liberty Mutual New Car Replacement, we'll replace the full value of your car. See car insurance in a whole new light. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Apples are good. A Strongbow hard cider, better. But Strongbow over ice is the best. Enjoying Strongbow over ice with your slow motion horse, the bestest. Strongbow, world's #1 hard cider.
Oh, no.
Who are you?
Daddy, this is Blair. He booked this room with Priceline Express deals and saved a ton.
I got everything I wanted. I always do.
You seem nice.
Hershey's Miniatures. Choosing is half the fun. Because there's a little something delicious for everyone. Hershey's Miniatures. Choose your own delicious.
Can you start tomorrow?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Let's share the news tomorrow. Today we're fairly busy. Tomorrow we're booked solid. We close on the house tomorrow.
Want one of these opened up? Because tomorrow we go live.
It's a day full of promise. And often, that day arrives by train.
Big day today? Even bigger one tomorrow.
When CSX trains move forward, so does the rest of the economy. CSX, how tomorrow moves.
This fall, you've got to watch the Weather Channel mornings.
It will all start with the weather.
The weather's too important to cover in a few minutes.
It's starting to intensify.
Because it's not just about your forecast.
Look at this.
I do. What could be better than a 5-star luxury resort? A 5-star luxury resort that includes the finest of everything.
I've had the time of my life, and I do it all again with you. I've had the time of my life.
Sandals. More quality inclusions than any other resorts on the planet. Save up to 65%. Call 1-800-SANDALS.
How can I avoid maintenance fees?
Why would you want to avoid them?
Because I don't want to...
You know what? I'm going to bring my maintenance guy here to tell you all about it. Roddy!
So, without your fee, your checking chamber can't run smoothly. Every time you put money in, it causes, deposit friction. Gotta get some fiscal lube on there.
It's time to bank human again.
Okay.
Avoid monthly maintenance fees at TD Bank with a minimum checking balance of just $100. TD Bank, America's most convenient bank.
Free 1000. Ready for a new breed of broker? There's a name for people like you. Trade King. Switch today.
The wildest weather ever caught on camera. Oh my God! Tonight, tomorrow night, every weeknight. Wild weather at 8 on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 78 degrees under cloudy skies. Tonight, partly cloudy skies early will give way to cloudy skies later at night. Low 74. Friday, cloudy, high 79. Winds northeast at 15 to 25 miles per hour. Friday night, cloudy skies early will become partly cloudy later at night. Low 72. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Welcome back to Weather Center Live. A look at South Florida, and you have been soaked this week. This is a live look at Miami. Still a fun spot despite the clouds and the rain.
Absolutely. A lot of dark clouds overhead, but at least the radar is giving us a little bit of a break at the moment. It is a combination, by the way, of things that are keeping South Florida wet. Of course, what's left of Tropical Depression 9 and that surge of moisture from the Gulf.
Yeah, something that we have been watching and something that we know for certain. Hurricane specialist Michael Lowry has been watching, and right now he is joining us in the lab. Hello to you, Michael.
Hey, Chris. Dry season, believe it or not, started down there in South Florida last week. You wouldn't know it today because of that tropical moisture streaming from the Gulf of Mexico and from the Caribbean Sea, sort of courtesy of the remnants of our tropical depression down here. Now, that big blow-up of thunderstorms you're seeing on the right side of that circle, that isn't the remnants that we're watching for redevelopment. The tropical depression moved inland over the Yucatan Peninsula. A 10% chance that this could reform once it emerges back over the Western Caribbean here over the weekend. I'll explain why I don't think that we're going to see the redevelopment there. The spin, if you can find it, right down in here, a very broad area of low pressure, it just never did get going. It lasted about 24 hours and then sort of fizzled out there yesterday as it moved in over the Yucatan Peninsula. If we zoom out a little bit, I'll explain what's going on down here south of Miami. We have this big dip in the jet stream. There is a cold front that's going to be pushing down through South Florida. Come tomorrow, it'll be drying out for the weekend. But in the meantime, you have winds that are doing this at the upper levels of the atmosphere. And when they do that, when they fan out like that, it's almost like taking taking wind or taking some sort of paper over a flame and stoking the fire. That's what it's doing to this thunderstorm. So you're moving air away, and air from beneath is coming in, and that's what's producing that shower and thunderstorm activity there in western Cuba and over parts of South Florida. But look to the north. north here. You can see how those clouds in the sky are very, very clear. That's very cold, very dry air that's down in the Gulf of Mexico now. And that means that even if it does try to redevelop, it's got a lot of work to do because of that dry air, not conducive for tropical formation. Also very strong winds at the mid and upper part of the atmosphere. So if you look at the future radar here, again, the spin down over the Yucatan Peninsula will emerge back over the Western Caribbean, but none of our computer models are really showing any significant development. And look down or look up here over South Florida. There's clouds and the showers we think ending sometime tomorrow or by Saturday evening into Sunday. So that'll be good for the weekend, kind of rounding out the weekend there after several days of rainy weather. Lastly, I want to talk about Ana here in the eastern Pacific Ocean. That one has been spinning around for days and now still a tropical storm, 50-mile-per-hour tropical storm lifting off to the north. It's going to get caught up in this river of very high clouds. That is what we call the jet stream, and it's going to accelerate off to the east and off toward the Pacific Northwest. In fact, you can track its energy all the way across the Pacific Ocean, and it's going to get mixed up in this low pressure system down through the Gulf of Alaska, moving down at least the remnants and the leftovers toward Washington and Oregon for early next week. Back to you.
All right, Michael, thank you. Then from the tropics, somewhere completely different, the mountains. And there is some snow right here for skiers in Arapahoe Basin. Not quite enough snow just yet across the Rockies. Probably want to know, when are things going to open? Well, they do have to still make more snow. You need more snow. There's just not enough yet. They're able to make it to higher elevations where it's colder, just not quite so much at the lower elevations. However, totally different story down below. In fact, it is warm in the plains. You don't have to get too far out of the Rockies to find yourself in the plains. Talking about the colder temperatures at the higher elevations, you can see that here. The blue are the colder spots, and those are all in the mountains. And then boom, right into the plains. It is going to be warm. It's 74 degrees in Denver right now. Ridge of high pressure still with us as that jet stream goes to the north. It's going to stay warm. In fact, some areas 10 to 20 degrees warmer than average. So warmer than what you might expect if you're planning a trip this time of year here. Tomorrow, 83 in Denver. That's almost 20 degrees warmer than average. And look at the heat cranking right here. By this weekend, Saturday, Oklahoma City and Dallas around 90 degrees, 88 in Dallas on Sunday, and still a lot of heat right here. And we're going to keep that heat going for a while. Here's a look at Denver, and it's how things can happen here quite frequently. It is warm, 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 crash. Just like that, you're going to go from 83 tomorrow, Monday, 54. Kelly?
All right, be ready for those changes. In the meantime, we are enjoying a partial solar eclipse rather safely here in our studio. Do not look directly up at the sun, but right now it almost looks like a bite taken out of a cookie. We are going to show you more of this as well as the story on weather.com.
We put all the apps you love inside a car designed to connect you to a world of possibilities. The Connected Car by Volvo. Innovating for you.
How did I set a new personal record today? I started with a test run. Then I got a solid night's rest in a great room. And before I hit the road, I hit the breakfast bar, where I got my fuel for the next 26 miles.
Great endings begin here. That's why at Choice Hotels, we give you cozy rooms, free breakfast, and right now when you take 2 separate trips, you earn 1 night free. Book now at choicehotels.com.
With breath-freshening, cooling crystals. Icebreakers.
Check.
Aha. No!
Energizer protects your devices from damaging leaks. Guaranteed.
Many Americans who have prescriptions fail to stay on them. That's why we created programs which encourage people to take their medications regularly. So join us as we raise a glass to everyone who remembered today. Bottoms up, America. See you tomorrow. Same time. Another innovation from CVS Health. Because health is everything.
I take Prilosec OTC each morning for my frequent heartburn. Because it gives me zero heartburn.
Prilosec OTC, the #1 doctor-recommended frequent heartburn medicine for 9 straight years. 1 pill each morning, 24 hours, zero heartburn.
I had an opportunity to interview for this amazing job, and I immediately thought Burlington. They have great suits, shoes, bags, everything I needed at a really, really good price. I saved so much on the suit, I went crazy and bought 3 outfits. I got my suit, and I got the job.
The more you learn about your insurance, the more gaps you may find. Like how you thought you were covered for this, when you're really only covered for this. Talk to farmers and get smarter about your insurance.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Sunday nights, the Weather Channel unravels nature's darkest secrets. Every Sunday, a new tale of weather legend.
It may have just looked like a storm, but they were dealing with something far worse.
American Supernatural. Sunday nights at 10 on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 78 degrees under cloudy skies. Tonight, partly cloudy skies early will give way to cloudy skies later at night. Low 74. Friday, cloudy, high 79. Winds northeast at 15 to 25 miles per hour. Friday night, cloudy skies early will become partly cloudy later at night. Low 72. Here's our 7-day outlook.
This Sunday night on the Weather Channel, you'll never know how twisted weather can be. Wicked Weather Sundays, every Sunday night at 9 on the Weather Channel.
Hey everybody, check it out. A live look at the partial solar eclipse happening right now. This is from the Griffith Observatory in Los Angeles. And we are adding a live box at the bottom of your screen so you can actually follow along with the eclipse live as it happens over the next couple of hours or so. Pretty cool stuff. Looks like a bite taken out of a cookie, doesn't it?
It does. A big orange cookie.
That's right.
Pretty cool deal.
Like a Halloween orange cookie, right?
Yes,
Welcome back to Weather Center Live on this Thursday. That partial solar eclipse is just one of the big weather stories that we're covering for you tonight.
It is, and again, you'll be able to follow along right here with that box throughout the course of this hour. We also have a case of dueling computer models. Could we have a Halloween winter storm on our hands?
Not so fast.
That's the big question.
I'm hoping for a nice treat from Mother Nature, but we're going to see. We'll break it all down with our storm specialist, Dr. Greg Postel.
But there is right now a pesky nor'easter, and it's still hanging around New England. But it is getting ready to move out finally.
Yeah, we'd like to see it move on out, especially after this. We've seen all kinds of problems getting around. Check out the street flooding across New England. This area has seen rain pretty much on and off for the past 3 or 4 days. The good news, though, the rain will start to taper off. Thousands of residents have actually lost power. We've seen some very strong damaging winds, and some areas seeing upwards of 5 inches of rain.
And of course today, the waves are absolutely beautiful today. I mean, this to me is fantastic. I mean, we've probably got, what, 5-10 foot waves out there. It just goes to show you how vicious and how the wrath of nature, you know, and how mean and how angry the North Atlantic can get.
The drama of the ocean certainly can be beautiful at a distance, of course. So even storms at the coast can be beautiful and fun to watch. But again, be careful. And we're going to talk about that storm right now and show you what's going on and the impacts. One of the impacts here, delays at the airports, with the biggest delays right now, getting close to 2 hours and 40 minutes. That's what it's at right now. It's almost 3 hours in Boston. Not as much as Philadelphia, as that storm's moving away. And in Newark and in New York, also more than an hour and a half, almost 2 hours in New York. So the storm's still causing some problems, and looking at some fall scenes here. Gray skies, and it's still wet there in parts of Maine. Heavy rain still is a concern. It's a threat. Flash flood watch in effect for parts of New Hampshire into a huge portion of Maine. And this is a look now at that storm. Pretty cool here. If you look at the visible satellite, the white, that's where the clouds are. And then you have the green on top of it and the yellow. That's the rain. You see this swirl right here. I mean, you can really see. Just take a moment to look at that big swirl, and it is south of Cape Cod, that center. You can really see it looks like it's just cranking right there, bringing that rain on, bringing that moisture on shore. And here it is throughout parts of eastern Massachusetts into Maine once again, getting clobbered with more rain. It's not the heaviest rain, but it's that persistent rain that we've been dealing with. Again, on the satellite, we saw that swirl. Here it is with the winds coming on shore, leading to some of those flight delays. 25-mile-an-hour winds right now in Boston. And tonight, you're still looking at rain for many areas and then wind at the coast still. Tomorrow, a similar story. More rain, not as much wind in the southern locations, but farther east and north you go, better chance to hang on to some of that wind. Basically closer to the water, you're going to be dealing with that about 1 to 2 inches when it's all said and done. Kelly?
So we're a little dark and dreary over the Northeast right now, but what millions of ghouls and goblins want to know is what the weather will be like when they put on their costumes and head out next week for Halloween. And right now it looks like Mother Nature may have a trick up her sleeve, or perhaps a treat. Our storm specialist, Dr. Greg Postel, joins me now. I know we're a week out, so this is a tricky forecast just because it's so far away, but so many parents and kids want to know how they're going to dress for next Friday.
Right, you want to know if it's going to be cold or warm, or if it's going to rain, or even snow. I think it's a little too early to find out if it's going to rain or snow, but we have a pretty good idea of where the warm and cold is going to set up.
All right, we've got the GFS model, the American forecast, and this shows quite the pronounced trough in the east, which tends to mean storminess, right?
Yeah, storminess and cold. In particular, because if you put the temperatures underneath that, you get the sort of traditional pattern where you have the cold where the dip in the jet stream is and the warm where the ridge is. So right now we're kind of thinking that it's more likely to be warm out west, say west of the Continental Divide, and colder in the east, like Chicago, New York, maybe even Atlanta. But the question is, how cold is it going to be, and do we believe this model run in particular?
Because there are other models that you look at.
Yes, there's a lot of them. And each one of these models, the GFS, the Euro, for example, they're run not just once, but a whole lot of times, because when they start the model, they don't always start from the right place. You never really know exactly what the atmosphere looks like at the initial time. So you've got to run it a whole bunch of different times. And when you do, you run the GFS, say like 20 times, you get 20 different answers.
It's like the spaghetti model right here.
Total spaghetti, right. And tasty too. But what I think is going to happen with this particular scenario is that when you look at everything in total, sort of you try to get a consensus for what the GFS wants to do. It does want to put the ridge in the west, and it does want to put a trough in the east.
Just not as pronounced.
But not as pronounced. That's exactly right. So I think it's more likely to be cold in the east, colder than average for this time of year, but perhaps not as cold as some of the individual runs might suggest.
All right, so looking at the daytime highs for next Friday, I mean 54, that's doable, right, in Chicago?
It is, but you know what? If you had to sort of place a bet on this and over-under, you know, I'd say, Kelly, I think it's going to be colder in Chicago than 54 on Halloween for a high on the 31st. Likewise in Bismarck, maybe even Dallas as well. So I think you can look at this and get a first cut, but then you got to balance everything together and suggest that, you know, the risk is to go a little bit colder in the eastern third of the country.
Better to have a long sleeve shirt under the costume than a coat covering it up, right?
That's how I would prepare. Yeah.
All right, Greg, thanks so much. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Kelly. Something else orange in the sky, this big thing. It's a rare treat, and everyone in the U.S. except for New England and Hawaii will get to see this partial solar eclipse. So let's take a live look right now at this. This is live, and this is a look from the Griffith Observatory in Los Angeles. Now, there won't be another partial solar eclipse until 2023, and there'll be a greater percentage seen the further west you go. In Alaska, we'll see the greatest percentage of the eclipse today. And here's a little cool fact for you. Sun is about 40 times wider than the moon. It's about 400 times wider, yet the moon is 400 times closer to the Earth than the sun. That's why the moon can eclipse the sun. And you do have to use special glasses and do not want to look right to it. Meanwhile, Dave Malkoff explains how the whole thing works.
A solar eclipse is when the moon blocks the sun from shining on parts of the Earth. We are in for a great partial eclipse show. Most of the people around the United States will see this. Hawaii and parts of New England will miss out. In the central and eastern time zones, this will happen right at sunset. Weather permitting, the sun could look something like this. The moon taking a big old bite out of the setting sun. Now, no matter how cool it looks, you want to use a safe solar filter. Or you can just look down at the shadows. Under a leafy tree, you can see hundreds of crescent-shaped suns on the grass. Now, here's another trick. Crisscross your fingers in a waffle style and let the eclipse play shadow puppets on your driveway. Here's a couple of free ways to find out when and where to see the eclipse. This Android app lets you select your city. Let's go with Las Vegas. Then it will compute and display all the solar eclipses in the next century or so. Click on this coming eclipse and you'll see when it starts. You can even see a simulation of what it will look like over the Las Vegas Strip. Here's the iPhone app. It's also free. You can click on your city. It's a 27% partial eclipse over Atlanta, and all the details are right there. It looks like it starts around 6 p.m. just before the sun sets. But remember, don't ever look directly into the sun. It ain't a good idea. Dave Malkoff, The Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 78 degrees under cloudy skies. Tonight, partly cloudy skies early will give way to cloudy skies later at night. Low 74. Friday, cloudy, high 79. Winds northeast at 15 to 25 miles per hour. Friday night, cloudy skies early will become partly cloudy later at night. Low 72. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Still on for tomorrow?
Quick look at the weather. Nice today, beautiful tomorrow.
Tomorrow is full of promise.
We can come back tomorrow.
And we promise to keep it that way. Driven to preserve the environment, CSX moves a ton of freight nearly 450 miles on 1 gallon of fuel.
What a day.
Can't wait till tomorrow.
Okay, Patrick, one more stop.
Let's go base, shark, blitz.
Base, shark, blitz.
When the game's on the line.
Okay, this is for the game.
The NFL trusts Duracell Quantum to power their game day communication.
Flag 19's on. Abort, he's keeping it.
Duracell Quantum lasts up to 35% longer than the competition.
Apples are good. As Strongbow Hard Cider, better. But Strongbow over ice is the best. Enjoying Strongbow over ice with your slow-motion horse? The bestest. Strongbow, world's #1 hard cider.
Fatherhood. Lesson number 1.
There's your deep sea delight.
Pregnant wives have late-night cravings.
The ice cream, please.
Lesson number 2.
Thank you.
Make sure you get her ice cream in a cup. With a lid.
And that's why you want accident forgiveness from Allstate. It keeps your rates from going up just because of an accident. Talk to your local Allstate agent today. Call 877-288-1100 now.
This is your 3 a.m. wake-up call. Time to eat, burp, change, walk, rock a little, walk some more, and repeat. Who has time for insurance?
An Allstate agent. They can do all the work for you, like saving you up to 25% on your home insurance when you add an auto policy. Talk to an Allstate agent today and relax. Or not. Plus, switch to Allstate today and you could save up to 10% more on your auto policy.
Just a few more ways the good hands are doing more than ever before.
Call 877-288-1100 now.
So I was a head chef at 24. I won Best New Restaurant in the country at 31. I've published cookbooks. I've been on TV. I've relied on people every step of the way. I still do. I have to. So staying connected to those people, that's what makes me feel accomplished. They're people I connect with, that I'd sit at a table with. These are the people that I ride with every day.
Wow, this is what we're giving out?
Yep.
I love Kit Kat and Reese's candy.
Have fun trick-or-treating.
Trick-or-treat!
Have a monstrously big Halloween with your favorite Hershey's candies. Walmart.
When he first joined the Army, I was very nervous.
We didn't know what they would have him doing. But Bobby always had a plan.
With unmatched training in over 150 careers beyond the battlefield, there are over 150 surprising ways to become Army strong. Talk to your son or daughter about opportunities in the Army.
Yoplait Light is now better than ever. It still melts in your mouth with 90 calories and is now aspartame-free. Yoplait Light. It is so good, it's better than ever.
The new drought monitor comes in on Thursday, so we're going to update you on the state of the country's desperate drought situation. And we're going to start off with a look at the national level. And first thing you notice here, a lot of the colors in the west and in the southern plains. But overall, the entire country, you're looking at 30% in moderate drought. But the most intense drought, again, happening in California. And just like last week, still 58% in exceptional drought. That's the worst of it. And that includes a huge portion from Los Angeles up to San Francisco, almost all the way up to the Oregon border. And in Oregon, some of the worst drought is happening in some of the typically drier places anyways. In Northeast Oregon, should be able to make up for this in the coming days west of the Cascades. Similar story in Washington. We're going to see improvement west and still remaining a bit dry east like it is right now. Kelly?
And Chris, as you just mentioned, about all of California remains in the worst levels of drought. So it's time to prioritize water to drink, to grow food, but not to save the lawn. And those who see it differently are finding themselves coming face to face with a new kind of cop who does not carry a badge or a gun.
Californians love their lawns, but the grass is now greener someplace else. Water is restricted in much of the state, and for people who break the rules,
we were sort of just done with letting people off the hook.
There are water cops.
We saw the gutter completely flooded all the way down the street.
Stephen Upton is doing a pre-dawn patrol in Sacramento. Here in California's capital, Governor Brown is living up to his name. Outdoor watering can only happen 2 days a week. And today isn't one of them.
Even if this was their watering day, this is way too much water.
Upton goes from house to house, snapping photos of rule breakers, then posting notices. First violation is a warning.
Yeah, the grass is soaking.
With a second violation, you start paying $50, then $200, $1,000.
We've had a couple $1,000 fines.
So we've gone from basically 3 people that were doing patrolling and following up on calls that came in to about 40.
Calls reporting violators are up tenfold.
And the call volume of like neighbors calling in or civilians calling in is just, it's enormous. At just a month ago, I had like 1,000 calls in my queue.
2 days of watering is about to go down to 1 for the winter, as everyone looks to the skies hoping for rain that isn't likely to come. So much for the El Nino.
Yeah, it's more like a La Nada. So.
In the meantime, Steve Upton stays at it, even if residents sometimes tell him to get off their lawns.
Well, I mean, we've been yelled off a property and threatened, but nothing too violent. It's part of the job. It's what we signed up for.
Ironically, in Sacramento, they still ban the use of fake grass in the front lawn. You can have dead grass, but not fake grass, and that is something the city is reconsidering. In Los Angeles, I'm Jane Wells, CNBC Business News. Back to you.
Very interesting. People having to get pretty creative to get their lawns looking good without the water.
And that fake grass can look pretty good.
Exactly. Yeah. And just put some, cacti and some pretty rocks.
Dress
and
it
things
up.
like dress it up, exactly. Time now for tonight's top 5 videos, the best of the best from around the world. And we're going to start you off in Switzerland. Look at that snow.
Beautiful. Getting crushed by some snow in the Alps. So this, I believe, is in Interlaken, or at least near Interlaken. And it's gorgeous in the summertime and gorgeous in the winter. And a lot of people getting getting ready to hit the slopes. Great place to do it.
Very exciting. All right, number 4, back to the States we go, and a nor'easter, which, of course, we've had a lot of wind with this. You can actually hear it on the microphone, but this is a boat ramp in Marblehead, Massachusetts, where you had the boats just kind of rocking and swaying out there in the water. A lot of power outages because of that wind, too.
Yeah, I think, is that like the ramp that lowers and you walk down onto the bow of the boat or the side of the boat or something?
Yeah.
Certainly you wouldn't want to be out there right now. Here's number 3. Pretty cool stuff. Seaside Park in New Jersey. Getting a lot of these lately.
Yeah, this is a water spout just off the coast of Seaside Park. This happened on Tuesday in the afternoon. And yeah, you can sometimes get this with a pretty powerful storm system out over the waters.
And how about essentially a storm underground?
Yeah.
Kilauea in Hawaii, showing what that lava can do. Kind of a little bit of explosion right there.
Yeah, volcanic explosion and splatter, then basically moved out to sea. All right, take a look at number 1. And this just into the Weather Channel. This is our new number 1 because of a tornado in Longview, Washington State.
Yeah, a rare situation. And right now, this is a look from the air, a live look right now at some of the damage from that tornado.
We'll go in depth on this for you, plus your tropical update up next.
If you have Medicare Part D, you could be at the corner of, I'm throwing away money, and I had no idea. Well, Walgreens has your back. Our expert pharmacists make it easy for you to save on your prescriptions, so you can keep your money where it belongs. Swing by Walgreens, where you could save even more with Medicare prescription copays as low as $0. At the corner of happy and healthy.
Hey neighbor, LED bulbs save energy and can last for over 20 years. So head to your neighborhood Ace now to stock up on the best bulbs for the best price. Get dimmable LED bulbs by Fight for $5.99 after $2 instant savings.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Sunday nights.
When the wind blows.
The Weather Channel unravels nature's darkest secrets.
I saw something. I don't know how to explain it.
Every Sunday.
It's a story that's got a life of its own.
A new tale of weather legend.
It may have just looked like a storm, but they were dealing with something far worse.
American Supernatural. Sunday nights at 10 on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 78 degrees under cloudy skies. Tonight, partly cloudy skies early will give way to cloudy skies later at night. Low 74. Friday, cloudy, high 79. Winds northeast at 15 to 25 miles per hour. Friday night, cloudy skies early will become partly cloudy later at night. Low 72. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Maybe you didn't know, people with the flu can spread it up to 6 feet away. Or that flu can make chronic conditions worse. Maybe you didn't know any of the stuff your Rite Aid pharmacist knows. But now that you've gotten your flu shot at Rite Aid, maybe you don't need to.
Get your flu shots at Rite Aid today.
Apples are good. As Strongbow hard cider, better. But Strongbow over ice is the best. Enjoying Strongbow over ice with your slow-motion horse? The bestest. Strongbow, world's #1 hard cider.
Making jackets that are built to perform anywhere is hard work. And at LL Bean, we take our job very seriously. Guaranteed quality, no matter what you're up against. From LL Bean.
Listen up, Thunder Dragon. It's time to get a hotel.
Hey, Razor, check this out. We can save big with Priceline Express deals.
You know what, man? These guys ain't no dragons. They're cool. These deals are legit.
Yeah, we're cool.
She's cool. We're cool.
What if there was a credit card where the reward was that new car smell and the freedom of the open road? A card that gave you that I'm 16 and just got my first car feeling. Presenting the Buy Power card from Capital One. Redeem earnings toward part or even all of a new Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, or Cadillac with no limits. So every time you use it, you're not just shopping for goods. You're shopping for something great. Learn more at buypowercard.com.
Huh. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more in car insurance.
Everybody knows that.
Well, did you know that former pro football player Ickey Woods will celebrate almost anything?
Number 44. Woo! 44, that's me!
Get some cold cuts, get some cold cuts, get some cold cuts.
Make every sale when you accept credit cards with Square. There's one low rate for every card. And you see money in your bank account as fast as the next business day. Send digital receipts, get instant feedback from your customers, and sell even more with real-time sales reports. Take care of your business with Square. Get started for free at square.com.
Get luxury for less at Al Packer Lincoln. Enjoy incredible savings on Lincoln's best-selling models, like the new 2015 Lincoln MKZ, just $299 a month, or a 2014 Lincoln MKS, just $379 a month. Enjoy luxury for less with bottom-line windshield pricing. Only at Al Packer Lincoln on Military Trail. And remember,
before you buy, Price Packer.
That professionalism is going to make you, as a business owner, more successful just right off the bat.
Vistaprint.com. See the weather like never before.
Look at this.
Listen to that.
Amazing starts here. The Weather Channel mornings.
Breaking right now following the aftermath of a rare tornado in southwest Washington, pretty close to Portland, Oregon. In fact, this is a look from the helicopter from KGW, our Portland affiliate. And it's right now we're kind of looking at a business area in Longview, Washington. And we saw some of the close-ups earlier. This is a wide view, but the close-ups earlier, a little bit more definitive on the damage. Part of a roof was gone. In fact, you could see down into one of the structures where there was, actually, you know, we're going to zoom in right now. Yeah. And I believe on the left, Kelly, what do you think? It looks like you see some of the 2x4s on the building, and that roof is ripped off right there.
Yeah, we definitely see some damage from this tornado. The National Weather Service has yet to confirm what strength the tornado was. But you know what? There was reports that a roof was blown off a school gym as well. So certainly seeing some damage. Also reports that elementary school kids saw the tornado in action, Chris.
So I think right now the helicopter has just gotten out there. We saw our first pictures less than an hour ago, and we showed those to you here on Weather Center Live. Now the helicopter is up out of Portland. Again, this is in southwest Washington, not too far away from Portland, Oregon, and they're surveying the damage. So I think they're kind of going around, taking a look and seeing what they see.
All right, we are going to definitely watch this story and follow it as we get the more information. We will pass it along to you. But right now it is time for our tropical update. Let's head out to the lab and our hurricane specialist, Michael Lowry. Hey, Michael.
Hey there, Kelly. Still watching the remnants of what was Tropical Depression 9. This is a very short-lived depression that moved in over the Yucatan Peninsula. It's not this over here, believe it or not. What we're watching is over land. It's a little small swirl there. If you blink, you missed it. But the Hurricane Center is still indicating that there is some potential that this could develop once it gets into the Western Caribbean this weekend. That's that possible development area. If they're going to if we're going to see any development, it's probably going to happen somewhere within that hatched yellow area. But if you look at the visible picture, it's really hard to make out even where it is. The blob up here to the north I'll talk about in a second, but there is, again, a broad area of low pressure here over parts of Mexico and Central America. Zooming out, this sort of describes what's happening right now. As you have winds, very fast winds at the upper levels of the atmosphere that are going from this direction to that direction. Very strong winds, not allowing for any formation of clouds up here, and very dry air filtering down through the Gulf of Mexico. But those winds winds that are fanning out at the upper part of the atmosphere, that's helping to create those thunderstorms that we're seeing there over parts of western Cuba. Basically, you're taking air and removing it at the upper levels of the atmosphere, and then from beneath, air comes up to replace it, and that's what produces the thunderstorms there. Not directly related to the tropical, what is left of Tropical Depression 9. You can see all of this in the water vapor picture. I love looking at this. This is what's happening, say, 30,000 feet, about where you would be flying if you were in a commercial aircraft. The gold colors, the orange colors, very, very dry air. Tropical systems really don't like that. So even if this one gets back here over the Western Caribbean, the odds for development very, very low with it. Some of the models want to lift it back into the Gulf of Mexico, but again, right there, very strong winds, very dry air, not expecting any redevelopment. Tropical Storm Ana here in the Pacific Ocean. I want to show you this one really quick. It's just a little interesting nugget, meteorological nugget. It's a 50-mile-per-hour tropical storm, and it's away from Hawaii, so not worrying about any impacts to land. But take a look at some of these computer models. I love showing these, and it's just kind of for fun because this is not going to be a tropical cyclone that makes it all the way across the Pacific and hits the northwest part of the United States. What it is going to do, though, is going to get wrapped up in a big non-tropical area of low pressure that's developing over parts of the Pacific Ocean. Very, very strong winds here across the uppermost part of the atmosphere in the Pacific, and that's going to bring all of that energy, some of that DNA from Ana, remaining in it, and then as a cold front pushes down early part of next week, could bring some rainfall to parts of Washington and Oregon. Kristen Kelly, back to you.
All right, Michael Lowry, thank you very much. And as we know, that rain and the wet roads can be dangerous.
That's for sure. So what happens when you add all those falling leaves to the mix? Well, coming up in our next hour, we're going to show you a new dimension to all that pretty fall foliage after your local on the 8s.
I'll tell you all.
Currently in our area, 77 degrees under cloudy skies. Tonight, partly cloudy skies early will give way to cloudy skies later at night. Low 74. Friday, cloudy, high 79. Winds northeast at 15 to 25 miles per hour. Friday night, cloudy skies early will become partly cloudy later at night. Low 72. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Right now, if you're ready for this, you want to turn your attention to the skies, something you're not going to have a chance to see again until 2023, solar eclipse, and the best time to check it out this evening, right about now. From the Weather Channel headquarters in Atlanta, this is Weather Center Live. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm Chris Warren.
And I'm Kelly Cash. You do not have to run outside and look up at the sun. No. That's very dangerous anyway. Stay right here because we're going to continue to show you that partial solar eclipse all day long. You can actually see it on the bottom of the screen.
Right down there. Yeah.
There.
Right there.
All right. There it is. And we're also going to have it for you on weather.com. So stay right there. Hopefully the weather is cooperating where you are. But I know in the Northeast, we've got a lot of clouds that are in the way.
Right. That's because of that storm that's been going through, bringing the clouds. Looks like a few breaks in the clouds right now as we look live at Hartford, Connecticut in the middle. And on the left, you have Boston. On the right, Portland, Maine. It has been a stormy one at the very least. It has been soggy. Some might call it gloomy, but things will change after days of rain and clouds. Here's Kelly with a look at some changes.
Yay, some good news. We're going to get this nor'easter out of here and hopefully some better weather for the weekend. But for now, we are still tracking this nor'easter. We've seen it for days. We've had rain. We had very strong winds as well. Winds gusting as high as even 51 miles per hour at Logan in Boston. And you can see what the delays are looking like right now. We're talking about an average delay in Boston, 2 hours, 40 minutes. New York, LaGuardia, nearly 2 hours. And also check ahead if you're flying through Newark with an hour and 39-minute delay. Good news news, though, Philadelphia, this time yesterday we had a big delay. Right now, we are looking pretty good as the weather has improved across the mid-Atlantic coast. But for York Beach in Maine, we have been socked in with the clouds and the fog and at times those strong gusts of winds, especially right along the coastline where we still have concerns with wind and also flooding. We do have a flood watch in effect for a good chunk of Maine down to New Hampshire. But the good news is, Boston, you are no longer in that flood watch. But we did see some pretty impressive rainfall totals across the New England area, a few inches of rain in some spots. Not only that, we had those strong gusty winds as well. But here's a look at the radar. You can actually see the counterclockwise flow. That is the area of low pressure just over the ocean, and you see that rain kind of spiraling around that area of low pressure and affecting the beautiful rocky coastline of Maine down towards Providence. We're still finding some light rain as well, but it's not as heavy at this point. New York City, it's actually looking a lot better right now, even though we've got those major delays at the airports. We still have clouds, but once you head over towards New England and especially up here in Maine, yeah, look at that, right along Interstate 95. It is pouring right now just to the south of Bangor, Maine. So slow it down out there, especially with the wet leaves on the ground. You can see the winds in Boston, 36 miles per hour. New York City, not as bad. Atlantic City, between 15 and 20 miles per hour. And we're still going to see some rain and wind, especially along the coastline. Tomorrow, still can't erase the green completely. We're still going to have the chance for some wet weather in places like Burlington, Portland, also down towards Boston, a few residual showers for you as well. But then after tomorrow, things will begin to improve. Chris?
All right, Kelly, thank you very much. Let's look right now. Developing story. This is damage from a tornado earlier in a spot you usually don't think of it. In Washington State, Southwest Washington. And this is a look from KGW. That's our Portland, Oregon affiliate. And Portland's actually closer to the Kelso Longview area than Seattle is. That's why you're getting the Portland affiliate video here. And they've been up surveying the damage. And we've been keeping tabs on this developing situation. With the damage that we've been able to see has been a bit sporadic with some of the structures, some of the buildings in the Kelso Longview area. And here's a picture from Longview, courtesy of Bruce Fisher, showing some of the 2x4s on the ground. And it looks like perhaps part of a roof there, or maybe an overhang, was blown away from where it originally was. Likely wasn't here in the middle of a sidewalk. But we are seeing damage both from the ground now coming in, also getting pictures from the air as well. And this is another look perhaps from Bruce Fisher here, perhaps of that overhang, or maybe that could have even been a fence for all we know. Here's a look at some of that video. Wow, look at that right there. You really see that damage where you're zooming in on. At first you see some of the debris go flying into the air, and then all of a sudden, boom, it just kind of almost explodes or just pulls apart all at once. So not a real explosion, but just kind of tears all apart at once. So here on the Weather Channel, we are still getting these pictures and the videos in, some of which we are seeing for the first time of this reported, now confirmed tornado. National Weather Service has to go out and figure out, based on the damage, look at that. Based on the damage, they'll figure out just how strong it was, and they'll give it a rating. But they've seen enough on the video and pictures to say that, yes, this is a tornado. And look at this. I can tell you this is not something you usually see in the Pacific Northwest. You have more, larger scale wind events, not these small scale events that you typically see. And about 10 years ago, there was one in a similar area here in 2004. And this is an area where you get that cold air aloft coming in off the Pacific Ocean. You might get a little bit more heating, and you don't have as much interference with the coastal range in this area, the mountains anyway, so you can get to see some of the stronger storms in these areas. They're not, as strong as you'd expect in the plains, but for this area, this is rare. This is not something that you think about in the Pacific Northwest, at least west of the Cascades. But when you get these transition seasons, it can be in the springtime or in the fall, you can get these big cold pockets of air, which will destabilize the atmosphere enough to get things like this. Again, live here on the left, it's more the damage that the Portland, Oregon helicopter is up surveying. Again, Portland, Oregon, closer to Longview, Washington than our Seattle affiliate. So they're up there keeping an eye on and surveying some of the damage in the Longview and Kelso area. On the right is some video of the tornado as it was in progress, and you can see, look at that, the swirl. It's not that classic funnel that you see because you don't always have that condensation cloud going all the way down, or the condensation funnel all the way down to the ground, but you certainly see a swirl there, and we have seen pictures of funnels connected with the cloud. So we are looking at the damage here from the damage happening as it's happening from some video in Longview, Washington. And of course, here on the Weather Channel, we will continue to bring you the very latest pictures and videos. And keep it right here as we monitor the live pictures and the new video coming in. Our severe weather expert, Dr. Greg Forbes, is analyzing the radar data, and he's going to be back after a short break to break down what happened here in Southwest Washington as we continue this developing story. To follow it here on the Weather Channel.
Alaska. There's only one place you can stand on top of the world, experience nature on its own terms, and create a little wildlife of your own. Dance to a different drummer and do something you've never done before. Then just when you thought you'd seen it all, you realize it's only Tuesday. Begin your adventure at AlaskaBeyondYourDreams.com.
Wow, this is what we're giving out?
Yep.
I love Kit Kat and Reese's candy.
Have fun trick-or-treating.
Trick-or-treat!
Have a monstrously big Halloween with your favorite Hershey's candies. Walmart.
Check.
Uh-huh.
Energizer protects your devices from damaging leaks. Guaranteed.
You owned your car for 4 years. You named it Brad. You loved Brad. And then you totaled him. You two had been through everything together. 2 boyfriends, 3 jobs. You're like, nothing can replace Brad. Then Liberty Mutual calls. And you break into your happy dance.
If you sign up for Better Car Replacement, we'll pay for a car that's a model year newer with 15,000 fewer miles than your old one. See car insurance in a whole new light. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
This fall, you've got to watch the Weather Channel mornings.
It will all start with the weather.
The weather's too important to cover in a few minutes.
It's starting to intensify.
Because it's not just about your forecast.
Look at this!
Listen to that!
See the weather like never before. Amazing starts here. The Weather Channel mornings.
Currently in our area, 77 degrees under cloudy skies. Tonight, partly cloudy skies early will give way to cloudy skies later at night. Low 74. Friday, cloudy, high 79. Winds northeast at 15 to 25 miles per hour. Friday night, cloudy skies early will become partly cloudy later at night. Low 72. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Weather ever caught on camera.
Oh my God!
Tonight, tomorrow night, every weeknight. Wild weather at 8 on the Weather Channel.
2 medium cappuccinos!
Let's show them what a breakfast with whole grain fiber can do.
I have 2 cappuccinos, medium macchiato, 2 espressos, 1 with a double shot.
That's not the coffee talking.
Start your day with Kellogg's Frosted Mini Wheat Cereal. It's a delicious way to get the nutrition you want.
Apples are good. As Strongbow hard cider, better. But Strongbow over ice is the best. Enjoying Strongbow over ice with your slow-motion horse? The bestest. Strongbow, world's #1 hard cider.
So we've had a Tempur-Pedic for a while, but now that we have the adjustable base, it's even better.
I'm go up.
When I put my feet up on this bed, my stress just goes away.
Visit your local retailer and discover how Tempur-Pedic can move you.
Can you start tomorrow?
Tomorrow, we're booked solid.
We close on the house tomorrow.
Tomorrow, we go live, everybody.
It's a day full of promise. And often, that day arrives by train.
Big day today? Even bigger one tomorrow.
CSX, how tomorrow moves.
Sign up today for AutoZone Rewards and earn store credit that'll come in handy. For your next project. Spend $20 or more 5 times and earn $20 store credit. Visit AutoZone.com/rewards.
You are looking live at an aerial view of southwest Washington and Longview, where the National Weather Service says we had a tornado touchdown. And as a matter of fact, they're going to be surveying that damage. And what you're seeing there, certainly some roof damage. We saw several trees and power lines reported down between Longview and Kelso. Longview, by the way, in Cowlitz County. And they're also reporting stay inside certain areas because of power lines that may still be active. A lot of debris out on the ground as well. Certainly not something you see every day here in the Pacific Northwest. We want to get more analysis with this particular situation and head out to the lab. Chris Warren joined by our severe weather expert, Dr. Greg Forbes. Hey, guys.
Hello to you, Kelly. And Dr. Forbes, something that sticks out in my mind, you don't see a lot of tornadoes in Washington State or Oregon for that matter. However, they were able to see a video pretty quickly, so they're able to say, yeah, it was a tornado.
It's definitely, we'll see the video, we see the low-level rotation, and then we see the funnel cloud aloft. Here we'll roll the video. You can see this debris flying around in the air, but it's almost a transparent tornado. There you see the debris really picking up here, but you don't see any of that dust-filled funnel that we usually see that makes it really obvious that that's a tornado. So the question would be, sometimes we get features like this that we call gustnados. It's just a low-level wind circulation that doesn't have any connection to the cloud. So it has to be part of the thunderstorm's updraft and circulation. We'll go into another part of the video, though. The cameraman will swing around and look in a little different direction. If we roll this, there it is. There you can see the funnel. So there's this a little bit of a dimple that's coming down. There is the cloud circulation. The whole tornado was rotating counterclockwise. So that convinces me that this wasn't just a gustnado that might have been just a little whirlwind. This is a full-fledged tornado, probably what we call the land spot type, along the edge of a thunderstorm. And you don't have to have a funnel cloud goes all the way to the ground. It can be almost invisible or transparent like this one.
As long as you see that rotation.
As long as you see the rotation at the ground, and you can certainly see the debris flying around there. And we probably have some damage that we're going to show here. I think that we've seen roof damage. It could be a couple-mile path with this, perhaps. So we're still just showing this video. Let me go over then to show you. I pulled back the radar. This was probably a little over 2 hours ago now. And here is Longview. And so the tornado, some of the reports that we've had have been right about in that location, right about near the eye in Longview. This is about 25 minutes before it gets to that location. Look, there's nothing here but a little bit of a shower. So I'm going to step this ahead in time and go 5 minutes ahead here, and there the thunderstorm forms right over the Columbia River and then begins to intensify. It begins by about here. Maybe you begin to see a little bit of a hook that shows up, so it has some weak rotation there just as it begins to come into the southwest side of Longview. Now look, there's a little bit of a donut trying to form right about there, so the tornado is likely in progress at this point. And then I'll step it forward a little bit, one more step, and you see down at the very end of the storm still a little bit of that hook that's showing up around there. And at this point, if I go to this debris signature feature that we have now on the dual pole radars, look at that. There's this blue, little blue hole there that's sitting right over the Longview area, right where I'm indicating that we've had reports of damage. We've had reports of damage 15th Street and coming down about 6 blocks down Vandercook Way. So this is Vandercook Way, that white road there. So that's right where we were seeing the debris. So not the kind of thing you think. This county, which is Cowlitz County, previously since 1950 has only had 3 tornadoes in the county. One of them was in November, so you can get them in the fall and the spring in this location, but not very often.
Thank you, Dr. Forbes. And again, if you're just joining us, this is Washington State that we're talking about here with a confirmed tornado. Live look on the left of the damage, and Dr. Forbes was just analyzing the radar for us. And we're going to take a look here. This is KGW-TV, our Portland, Oregon affiliate, which is closest to the Kelso Longview area. And you're looking at some of the debris, Dr. Forbes, right here.
It's probably going to get rated EF0 to EF1, which is kind of characteristic. The tornadoes usually kind of weak out here. We don't expect any more, but you can never tell.
You never can, and we're going to keep on top of this developing story here on the Weather Channel. Stay with us.
How did I set a new personal record today? I started with a test run. Then I got a solid night's rest in a great room. And before I hit the road, I hit the breakfast bar, where I got my fuel for the next 26 miles.
Great endings begin here. That's why at Choice Hotels, we give you cozy rooms, free breakfast, and right now when you take 2 separate trips, you earn 1 night free. Book now at choicehotels.com.
Ring, ring. Progresso.
It's okay that your soup tastes like my homemade.
It's our slow-simmered vegetables and tender white meat chicken.
Apology accepted. I'm watching you, soup people.
Make it Progresso or make it yourself.
I wish. Please.
The wish we wish above all is health. So we quit selling cigarettes in our CVS pharmacies, expanded Minute Clinic for walk-in medical care, and created programs that encourage people to take their medications regularly. Introducing CVS Health, a new purpose, a new promise to help all those wishes come true. CVS Health, because health is everything.
Apples are good, as Strongbow hard cider, better. But Strongbow over ice is the best. Enjoying Strongbow over ice with your slow-motion horse, the bestest. Strongbow, world's #1 hard cider.
Started my Camry. Went to the auction. Won a storage locker. Found an old guitar. Tracked down the previous owner. Reunited them. Hit the jackpot.
The bold new Camry. One bold choice leads to another. Toyota. Let's go places.
Hey, big bog panorama corn salad, baby.
Warm-up snap. Jebby, roll on Jim Big Dito Flash.
Now's the time to get in the loop. Just look for our fall TV picks with
As women, we always talk about how we should look or what's the best way to lose weight. But for me, it finally became all about how I feel. I looked in the mirror and I saw what I didn't want to see, the truth. I was 50 pounds overweight. It was a rough day. That's when I decided I had to lose weight. So I chose the only simple option for me, Nutrisystem.
And now, with Fast 5 from Nutrisystem, you can lose weight fast. Lose 5 pounds in your first week or your money back guaranteed.
I lost 50 pounds on Nutrisystem.
Order your 28-day My Way plan right now, including Fast 5. Get 1 week of specially designed meals, plus 1 week of energizing shakes free, and 1 week of Craving Crusher shakes free.
So why do I keep telling you about Nutrisystem? Because it works, and I know it'll work for you.
Plus, check out our Nutrisystem D program for people with type 2 diabetes.
Call 877-384-DIET and lose your first 5 pounds fast.
Free 1000. Ready for a new breed of broker? There's a name for people like you. Trade King. Switch today.
The wildest weather ever caught on camera. Oh my God! Tonight, tomorrow night, every weeknight. Wild weather at 8 on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 78 degrees under cloudy skies. Tonight, partly cloudy skies early will give way to cloudy skies later at night. Low 74. Friday, cloudy, high 79. Winds northeast at 15 to 25 miles per hour. Friday night, cloudy skies early will become partly cloudy later at night. Low 72. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Breaking news, everybody. We are following a tornado touchdown. Took a lot of people by surprise here in Longview, Washington. This is in the southwest corner of the state. You're looking at damage right there with some debris down on that truck. We had reports of a roof ripped off a nearby appliance store. Also, the roof off the gym at Kessler Elementary School. No one was hurt, thank goodness. No reports of any injuries, but still, you can see a lot of damage and a lot of debris that is strewn all over the place.
It looks like part of that wall, possibly made out of cinder block, blocks came crashing down on top of that vehicle, some kind of a truck, or maybe like a Ford Bronco, but you can see just crushing it down. And we've been watching and following these pictures from KGW, the Portland, Oregon affiliate from Longview, Washington, which isn't too far away. And you can see it right there, just in between the Ore and the Wa, right along the Columbia River. And it seems like the damage has been rather sporadic. You know, a couple businesses are fine, and then a few more away, there's this. You can see right down. See that motorhome just to the right of it? Yeah. You can see in there. And there's a couch in there. Looks like a bathroom in this business.
Yeah, by the way, this is in Cowlitz County, and it's not too common to see tornadoes in this area, so rather unusual, and they are urging people, you know, the Cowlitz County Department of Emergency Management saying stay off the roads because of downed wires. You can see some trees that are down as well.
A couple of them on each side of the road. And just from the root as well, you know, all the way down, not snapped in half, but enough to, you know, a force to bring the whole tree down. And then again, here's another look a little bit earlier on the left, some video that we had recorded and are playing back for you now of some of the damage, some cinder blocks on a vehicle there, some sort of a truck. And on the right, as it was happening, or actually this is live radar as we look, and still some storms around, some of the strong storms in southwest Washington
and a little bit of lightning showing up there north of Astoria, so definitely watch out for more storms. It's going to be very active here in the Pacific Northwest, but we're also following what's going on in the tropics. South Florida just getting doused with rain over the past couple of days.
And the man with the answers, what's going to happen and what can we expect and when, is hurricane specialist Michael Lowry. Hello, Michael.
Hey, Chris, look, there's only one tropical cyclone in the world, and it's in the Pacific Ocean right now, but we are still watching what's left of Tropical Depression 9 here on the Atlantic side, specifically down here in the Gulf of Mexico, very close to us here in the United States. And if you look at this picture, you may think, well, we're circling the wrong area. No, we're not. This blow up of thunderstorms not associated with this over here, which is an area of low pressure over the Yucatan Peninsula. The Hurricane Center is saying, look, once this gets back over water here in the Western Caribbean, there's a small chance, a 10% chance, that this will try to reform. If you look at the visible picture right now, it's even hard to make out where the spin is. There is some sort of broad twisting to those clouds, but zooming out and looking over the northern Gulf of Mexico, we're beginning to obviously lose our sunlight here. Hardly any clouds to speak of. That's because there's a cold front, a dip in the jet stream that's come down, drying things out. Lots and lots of dry air. The other thing that it's producing, that same dip in the jet stream, very strong winds at the mid to upper part of the atmosphere. Meanwhile, we have a developing ridge of high pressure at the upper part of the atmosphere down here over what's left of our system. So those winds are kind of fanning out in different directions, helping to stoke the fire, flame the flames, or to fuel the